Hello, good morning. Welcome to Better Life. I'm Dr. Ayo Akishete, and today we are going to continue with what we started yesterday. We began the teaching on hyper productivity. Hyper productivity. Don't forget, life itself is all about productivity. Everything God created, He created them to produce after their kind. Anything that cannot produce, anything that cannot deliver, anything that cannot multiply, anything that cannot give back to value is not productive. It's not productive. Jesus gave a parable. He said, a man planted a vineyard, and then a particular tree will not bring forth. First year, no fruit. When it was time to begin to fruit, others were fruiting. This one refused to fruit. Second year, no fruit. The third year, the man told the gardener, I said, cut it down. It was the gardener begging for it because God believes in productivity. God is a God of productivity. He's a God of productivity. And yesterday, we began laying foundation. The first principle all of us must lay to mind when it comes to maximum productivity, hyper productivity, is relationship. And that was what we began yesterday. Relationship is the foundation of productivity. Relationship is the foundation of productivity. God didn't create any man as an island. Anything you can do alone, complete alone, and do everything alone is a small thing. You are going to need people. You are going to work together with people. Even if you are the owner of the business and you are the only one producing your business, you are going to need people to buy. Now, we began our journey from Matthew chapter 25, the parable of talent, verse 14. Matthew 25, verse 14. Let's move on under the subject of productivity and relationships. Productivity and relationships. Now, there were three employees with this boss. He gave one 5 talent, he gave one 2 talent, and he gave the third one 1 talent. The first one multiplied the money, turned it to 10 talent. The second one multiplied the money, turned it to 4 talent from 2. And the last one, 1 talent. He told his master, I know that you are a hard man. You reap where you don't sow. You reap where you don't sow. Follow me. You reap where you don't sow. I want you to take note of the words of this gentleman. If you take note of his words, you might be able to know what is on his mind. Because if you don't understand what's on the mind of this gentleman, you may not be able to learn from him. He said, Lord, I know that you are a hard man, reaping where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. And I was afraid and went and hid your talent in the earth. Lo, here is what is yours. And his Lord told him, you are wicked and slothful. You know I reap where I sow not and gather where I have not scattered seed. You ought to have put my money to the bankers, and then at my coming I should have received my own with interest. Take therefore the talent from him and give unto him who has 10 talents. For unto everyone that has shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he has, and cast the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. That's the lot of people who love to criticize. Now, let me start at this junction. Don't forget, we are still under productivity and relationships. No perfect boss. All of us need to understand that. Now, the reason this gentleman refused to multiply the money the master gave him is because he knew that the profit he makes is not going to be for only him. He will have to share with the boss. He didn't like the idea. Then, when people are working, I think this is where very many people have problems. You are in the office working out your ass, and the boss will not even show up. When he's going to show up, he can come to the office once in a week, spend 30 minutes, and he's gone. And because of that, very many employees think that they are the ones doing the job. And that when the proper blessings come now, they are going to get a deal. They are going to make 100 million. The boss will just throw a small party for them and then give them their salary. They are wondering, why should they be the one? People don't realize that there are a lot of things bosses do that they don't know. Before they employ you in that office, do you know how much has gone into that office? The moment you have issues with your boss, you reduce your chances of increase and promotion in the future. Not only in that company, because that boss one day might be in a position to recommend you to somebody else. Even if they offended you where you are working, please, I beg you, leave the place in peace. Don't slam the door. Be careful how you quit relationships, so that if you are going to need those people, they can recommend you well. They can recommend you well. Your future, your success, your productivity are all tied to relationship. Maintain them well. Maintain them well. If you treat people well, you will get the dividends sooner or later. Whether your subordinates, your contemporaries, or superiors, treat everyone well and know that a bit of your future productivity is hid in everyone you meet. And please recognize and honor your bosses. They are doing things you cannot see. You see, when you are in managerial position, bulk of the work done is not physical, it's mental, it's spiritual. Yeah. You go back home, you say you are resting, you lay down on your bed after dinner, and then you sleep. At that time, your boss is cracking his brain. He's thinking of way forward. He's thinking of what next to do. Now, the principles you are using in your working place that you believe is working, your boss is already thinking how to obsolete that principle and bring in a new one before his contemporaries will catch up with the system. Now, that's the boss who think is playing. That's the stand of this gentleman. That's why he had issues with the boss in his heart. Listen carefully. There are no perfect bosses anywhere. Yeah. Your boss has flaws. Your boss has his own issues. Your boss can make mistakes. Your boss may say things you don't like. Your boss may, he's just human. That's the bottom line. Your boss has flesh and blood. And as long as we have flesh and blood, we are limited. Yeah, we are prone to error. That's why they say to err is human. So don't look at your boss like a demigod or somebody that should not commit mistake, someone that should not commit blunder. Every leader has the human side to him. Yeah, he's going to commit blunders. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to talk rough at times. He's going to get angry at times. He can even be wrong doing those things. But you see, the boss is the boss. He's doing things you cannot do. Recognize that. Whether it's spiritual leadership or organizational leadership, any kind, you need to understand that there is a human side to your boss. Your boss is not flawless. Your boss is not flawless. Understand that, or else you will ruin the relationship today that will help you tomorrow. Yeah, I remember there was a young man I prophesied to sometimes who was supposed to leave a place, and I told him, don't leave the place yet, and then ensure you don't offend the boss. Ensure even if he offends you, you don't react. It took years before we knew what God wanted to do with that. Even me, I was wondering, what kind of nonsense is this? Because the boss was doing rubbish. He was doing nonsense. And the young man held on to the voice of the Lord. He refused to offend the boss. And then somewhere along the line, God began to say to him in other areas. Through the same boss. That same boss who was vexing his life, that same boss who was doing nonsense to him, God saw his patience. God, look, believe me, it is not only in spiritual leadership you need to send honor upwards. It is in all leadership. Anybody ahead of you, believe me, is your temptation. Anybody above you is your temptation. How you treat them, what to think about them in your heart matters to God. It matters to God. It matters to God. Please, I want to enjoin everyone hearing me at this time. Be careful what to say, what to think about your bosses. It will hinder your productivity if you are thinking negative of them. It will hinder your productivity if you are thinking ill of them. Let me say one more time. Leaders go through pains that the employees can never understand. Leaders go through stresses that their followers can never understand. So you need to understand this. Don't think your boss is playing because he does not come to the office. Don't ever think so. Don't ever think like that. If you think that way, you are thinking wrongly. And ultimately, it is going to affect your perception of your boss, and it is going to destroy how you see your boss, and it's going to affect everything. And ultimately, your productivity. There are no perfect bosses anywhere. Now, listen to this. There are anti-productivity relationships. You need to cut them off. There are unions to cut off. Any union that builds bitterness against others, cut it off. Beware of negative people, riotous people. The prodigal son would have done well if he chose good friends. He would have built a conglomerate and made his father proud. But he chose bad friends. He chose riotous friends, and they ruined his productivity. Mind you, the prodigal son had been a part of hyper productivity at home. in his father's conglomerate. He was a part of building a system, and the system became mighty, became great. But he couldn't reproduce that system because he surrounded himself with people who were riotous. If you want to be productive, please cut off anti-productivity relationships. Anyone that is hindering your productivity should be avoided. And then I want to let you know, you need to service relationships. Relationships are living organisms. When you service them, they will live and they will grow. If you let them be, they die. You service relationships with time and with resources. When those important to your life and existence, like your boss, are celebrating something or special times of the year, ensure to present them with something. Excuse me. Ensure to present them with something. It is not bribe. It is understanding. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. That gift the Bible is talking about there is not abilities. It's gift, physical gift. The gift you buy, the money you envelope and then present to your boss. That's the kind of gift the Bible is talking about here. Not your natural gift. The gift of a man makes room for him. When you give gift to your superiors, you give gift to those to your bosses at special times of the year and their own special times. Believe me, what you are doing there is creating a room for yourself. Yeah, that's what you are doing. You are showing them that you have them in mind. That's what you are doing. This is what many people don't understand, and ultimately their productivity chances will be divided. People who believe in you will remember you when there are chances. Even if 1,000,000 persons are qualified, you will be preferred because you have been good and faithful to them. Now, your guy is having birthday or celebrating wedding anniversary or something, even if there's no celebration, but you know the date. When you get a gift and give to the person, what you are doing is you are showing loyalty because you don't have to do that. The workplace and that one are not the same. You are showing that you have a personal interest in the boss. You are showing that you love the boss. You are showing your loyalty. Listen carefully, people. Don't expect the boss to just love you or to just prefer you if you don't create a system for that preference. Somebody say, well, if I want preference, I will pray. You need to pray, but there are steps to take. Yeah. There's something they call PR, public relations. It's unfortunate that many Christians don't have it. They just pray and speak in tongues. They don't have public relations. If you can't spend your money to maintain relationships, I can assure you the best relationships of your life that will take you into the future, lead you into success, lead you into productivity, all of them will die out naturally. If you don't want the union to die, service it. It will cost you money. It will cost you time. It will cost you gift. I tell you, it will cost you your resources. But that dividend will be far more than the expenditure. That dividend will be far more than the expenditure. That dividend will be far more than the expenditure. The Bible told us categorically. It said, he that waits on the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof. He that waits on the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof. Are you waiting on your boss? Are you waiting on relationship? Because relationship generally is not only about boss. It's not only superior relationships. Even your colleagues. Some people are so stingy, nothing can come from them to other people. And yet, you want them to take you as important. Huh? It does not work like that. It does not work like that. There are unions, you are the one to prove to them that they are important to you by the way you treat the union, by the way you treat them on their special days and general special days. I'm going to stop here for today, and I pray that God will help you. You need to call, you need to talk to somebody. We are here for you. The number to call is 070-5666-7686. I'll see you again tomorrow. Love you.